Welcome back to the Welcome back to where I recap every single NFL team for the upcoming 2023 season. It's been long, people, but we're out. We're out of it, and it's the final team of the NFC West. The final team I have to talk about till next year for the 2023 season, and we're going to talk about the Seattle Seahawks. And they had a solid year last year. I'm not saying they had an amazing year, but they had a solid year. Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner both went to the Rams and Denver, respectively, and the quarterback in that position was Geno Smith, and what a year he had! Geno Smith, what a year he had, and he won the MVP last year as well. He had a fantastic year. He's been in the league 10 years. I know he's been a backup majority of places he's been, but he had a great year. I think the second in the division behind the 49ers, and they just had a good season. And they give Geno Smith a big contract. I'm like, really? You're gonna give Geno Smith a big contract? I'm like, come on. Like, you had an early first round pick. So who did they go for? Devon Witherspoon, cornerback from Illinois. I like him. He's a great talent at cornerback, but again, John Schneider and Pete Carroll, once again, like they do every single year, fuck up this draft for the Seahawks. Again, this is like Bill Belichick. But again, Pete Carroll doesn't do the GM stuff. It's John Schneider does the GM stuff. But they're both doing it together. It's like, but again, this draft class could have been better. Again, I look at it again. It's a missed opportunity for the Seahawks to get a quarterback. You bring in Devon Witherspoon, cornerback from Iowa, good addition. You bring Smith-Njigba in, wide receiver, Ohio State. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for both of these two draft picks. But I look at this draft, especially when you look at these quarterbacks in, and you have Anthony Richardson. You had Will Levis. He was still on the board at this point. Will Levis was still on the board at this point. You had Will Levis was on the board and Anthony Richardson was still on the board, and you passed on both of them. I'm like, especially I talked about it in my last video, my 49ers video, like when the 49ers passed on Mahomes a couple years ago. Look at them now, looking like idiots. But if the Richardson or Levis actually live up to their potential and actually do well in the NFL, then you're going to go back to this and think, shit, we should have got ourselves a quarterback, because again, that was going to set us up for the next 5-10 years at the quarterback position. But you go for defensive players. I'm like, come on, you need a quarterback. Get yourself a quarterback. And yes, Geno Smith's good, and I'm glad that he had a great season last year. He was an MVP last year. But again, he's 30. He's in his early 30s now. He's not going to be the long-term solution. You give him a contract extension. I look at it like, really? But anyway, you bring him in, you bring Smith-Njigba in, which is good, from Ohio State. Derick Hall, edge from Auburn, good addition. I really like this talent that you bring in somebody in the edge, like Derick Hall. Charbonnet, running back from UCLA. He's a good addition. I really like him as a talent. I'm a fan of his work, so that's good. Anthony Bradford, I haven't seen much of him. I haven't seen any of him, to be honest, so we can't talk about him. He may get some game time, he may not. If anybody has seen any Anthony Bradford on tape, tell me. He got drafted from LSU. Cameron Young, defensive line from Mississippi State. He looks a good addition as well. I think him and Derick Hall, I think they're going to be two good additions that you're going to see. Cameron Young, again, he's not all there yet. He's a bit raw. Same with Derrick Henry here. Derick Hall. But they're going to be two good talents in the NFL that you're going to say, yeah, these could be the guys in the next couple of years. Then you have Mike Morris. You've got two edge rushers in his class. Edge rusher from Michigan. And then Kenny McIntosh, who I'm a fan of. I'm a big fan of Kenny McIntosh. I saw him in Georgia. Saw a couple of his games last year at college. and I'm a fan of his work. I think he's got to be a starter. Kenny McIntosh is going to definitely be a starter in the NFL. But again, you've done an okay job at the draft. I think the one thing that would make it a good draft is if you've got somebody at the quarterback position. Like you've got a Witherspoon, you've got especially an Anthony Richardson, which I'm a fucking fan of, and I just think he's one of the best quarterbacks in this draft class. And I'm going to say, oh, Bryce Young, no, Anthony Richardson, he is the best quarterback in this draft class, ability wise, upside wise. He's just the best, and in my opinion, I think if you look back in the next couple of years, you could see him like, shit, if he does well, you're gonna think, shit, we should have had him in Seattle, and that's what I think is gonna happen. And again, Pete Carroll, does he want to do the rebuild? You gotta think, is this gonna be his last year as a head coach? Again, he's in his 70s now. Does he want to do a rebuild? You're thinking, should somebody else take the rebuild? I think personally, somebody else should take the reins of the Seahawks and give it some new life. I think, Pete Carroll, no doubt about it, future Hall of Famer. He's the GOAT. He's a Hall of Fame head coach, but I think it's time to step away. You're 70 now, you've done it. You're a legend. I think it's time to get somebody else. Get somebody else in the hot seat. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Bobby Wagner comes back as a free agent. He only had 1 year in California and then went back to Seattle. Dre Monty Jones, defensive end from Broncos. Julian Love, defensive back. Drew Lock, quarterback. He's staying in Seattle. Then you got Jaron Reed, defensive tackle. Devon Bush, linebacker. Evan Brown, center. Geno Smith is staying, like I said. He signed that new deal. Phil Hayes, guard. And then you got you got Myers, who's a kicker, and he is staying for another year. So that is my preview for every single NFL team for the 2023 upcoming season. I will be back. I'm going to be back Friday. Yeah, Friday. I'll be back Friday doing my NFL picks. That's right.